Hello, everyone. I trust you're enjoying a splendid day. It's time once again for a captivating story session with yours truly. Today, I've got an extraordinary tale to share, one that's utterly bizarre and unbelievably fascinating. Intrigued? Let's dive right in. Skylar dashed out from the tower, her heels rhythmically tapping against the pavement. Glancing at her wrist, she felt her heart race with a mixture of excitement and panic as she checked the time on her gleaming silver watch. "My goodness!" she exclaimed, panic lacing her voice, "I've run out of time without a moment to spare." Swiftly, she made her way toward the nearby subway station. The rhythmic click of her heels echoed on the concrete beneath her feet. The day was slipping away faster than she had anticipated, and she found herself running late for a truly momentous occasion. This wasn't just any dinner, it marked her very first dinner with Carter's parents. A significant milestone in their relationship, every passing second carried immense weight, and she could only hope she wouldn't arrive late. Skylar and Carter had reached a pivotal juncture in their relationship. They had decided to embrace marriage as the next step, eager to unite their lives as closely as possible. Attempts to maintain their independence and keep their lives separate had proven fruitless. The physical distance only seemed to amplify their yearning for each other. It became evident that in order to solidify their commitment and share their everyday existence, marriage was the natural progression. This union would not only bridge the physical gap but also symbolize their resolute dedication to a shared future. Skylar, though, harbored reservations about the institution of marriage. To her, marriage wasn't a prerequisite for their togetherness. It wasn't a fundamental requirement in her eyes. She believed in their bond and felt that their commitment could endure without the formality of a ceremony or a signed document. However, Carter was a staunch advocate for marriage's sanctity. He was eager to declare their love openly and hold nothing back about his wife's identity. He had no intention of concealing his marital status, quite the opposite, in fact. He desired for everyone to acknowledge that he was married to someone as incredible and beautiful as Skylar. He wished to proudly announce to the world that he was the husband of an extraordinary woman. His enthusiasm shone brightly, a reflection of his profound love for Skylar. With a hint of apprehension in her voice, Skylar inquired, "Are you absolutely certain about this? What if your parents aren't on board?" Carter responded with a reassuring half-smile. "Frankly, I'm confident that my parents will fully support whomever I choose to be with. They might prefer to make the choice themselves, but I doubt any arranged relationship would stand the test of time." Skylar regarded Carter skeptically. "Have they already lined up a partner for you?" Carter promptly shook his head, assuring her that this was absolutely not the case. "Sweetheart, let me be clear, I have no clue about their plans, nor am I interested. Trust me, I know my father well enough. If things come to that, I won't hesitate to walk away. Their money means nothing to me. Their privileges don't tempt me. They might assume I'd do anything for their wealth, but I'm determined to carve out my own future." Carter's words were resolute, underscored by his unwavering determination. He was ready to stand by his love, regardless of his parents' thoughts. A contemplative silence enveloped Skylar as she absorbed Carter's words. She recognized the intricate dynamics within his family, the brewing tensions and unresolved disagreements lurking beneath the surface. She couldn't help but ponder the scenario she might step into. The last thing she wished for was to be a catalyst for further strife within Carter's family. The notion of inadvertently exacerbating discord in Carter's family filled her with unease. She cherished her relationship with Carter, yet she also valued tranquility and harmony. As she pondered her path forward, she understood the delicate balancing act required, nurturing her bond with Carter while engaging with his family dynamics. Beginning carefully, Skylar spoke, her voice radiating genuine concern. "Please understand, my intention isn't to disregard the significance of family. However, I truly don't want to become a source of contention between you and your parents." Carter turned to Skylar, his gaze penetrating as he looked into her eyes. Offering a warm understanding, he smiled and pulled her into a reassuring embrace. "You won't be the cause of any turmoil," he assured her, his voice brimming with conviction. "Any strain between my parents is rooted in their own perspectives, not due to you. I'm uncertain about what's been affecting them lately. It's almost as if their mentalities have regressed to a bygone era, and it's not limited to them. These days, human behavior seems to be taking an unusual turn. It's almost as if the more wealth people amass, the stranger their actions become." His words brought a measure of solace to Skylar, confirming that he was well aware of his family's peculiar attitudes and was ready to confront them head-on. He wanted to assure her that she wasn't in any way responsible for the idiosyncrasies at play. The first meeting of Rhian Carter and Skylar was purely a twist of fate. They found themselves amidst the vibrant energy of a football game, fully engrossed in the electrifying spectacle. Fate had positioned them as ardent supporters of opposing teams that were locked in a fierce contest on the field. Unbeknownst to them, they were destined to share adjacent seats. Their seats happened to be right next to each other, amid the fervent cheers and light-hearted banter that marked the beginning of their unexpected romance. As the game unfolded, the fans' excitement only grew. One of them cracked a jest about a particular team, sparking hearty laughter from the surrounding crowd, including Carter himself. However, Skylar's serious expression revealed her allegiance to the team on the receiving end of the joke. This prompted Carter to playfully tease her, injecting a playful twist into their interaction. His banter and jests, aimed at her team, added a layer of lightheartedness to their encounter. Despite their steadfast loyalties, their banter wove the initial threads of their connection. Starting as friendly teasing, their interaction soon escalated into a spirited exchange. Their voices rose above the cheers of the crowd as they passionately defended their teams, extolled the virtues of their favorite players, and critiqued the opposing side. But as they continued, their initial defensiveness gave way to shared amusement. In no time, they found themselves laughing together, their focus shifting from the unfolding game. The intense rivalry between the two football teams faded into the background, replaced by an unexpected camaraderie. Recognizing this unique connection, Carter suggested they relocate to a quieter spot, away from the noisy crowd, to continue their conversation. They left the roaring stadium behind, with their attention now fixated on each other rather than the match they had initially come to witness. Skylar hailed from a humble family, content with their modest lifestyle despite their lack of financial abundance. Her father, Andrew, held a deep affection for his daughter. While they were not financially struggling, luxury was not a part of their lives. They led simple lives, making the most of what they had. One of the precious gifts Andrew could afford to give his beloved daughter was the ability to defend herself. He enrolled her in karate classes. Andrew's decision was deliberate. He had been working as a janitor at the local karate dojo, where he observed children training. He saw their discipline, the respect they held for their instructors, and the mutual respect cultivated within the dojo. Skylar embraced the world of martial arts wholeheartedly. Not only did she excel in karate, but she also ventured into Muay Thai, a martial art known for its rigorous technique and intensity. Throughout her college years, she skillfully balanced her academic responsibilities with martial arts training, never compromising on either front. She participated in numerous tournaments, consistently pushing her physical and mental boundaries. This dedication allowed her to refine her skills and deepen her understanding of the sport. Max, Skylar's father, beamed with pride over his daughter's accomplishments. Skylar stood as the sole bright spot in Andrew's life. Originally yearning for a son, his desire had been shaped by a series of tragic events. Tragically, Andrew had lost his first 3 sons during pregnancy. These losses hit Andrew particularly hard, as he himself had been born prematurely at 7 months. He struggled to make sense of and accept these repeated tragedies. Why were his sons not able to be born? Andrel, his elderly aunt, lived in a serene solitude atop a small settlement. She was a woman of profound wisdom, believing in the inherent meaning and purpose behind every life event. After the devastating loss of his third son left Andrew heartbroken, he found himself driving towards his aunt's home in search of solace and perhaps answers. He had even bought a bottle of whiskey, contemplating using it to numb his pain. However, he decided to delay drinking until he spoke with his aunt. Throughout his life, he had turned to her for guidance in moments of crisis, valuing her wisdom and insights. After pouring out his heartrending dilemma to her, his aunt took a deep, contemplative breath. Surprisingly, she responded with a gentle smile, leaving him both puzzled and slightly agitated. Andrew gazed at his aunt, sensing that she was somehow making light of his heartrending situation. This incited a simmering frustration within him. Yet, her ensuing words would forever shift his perspective and bring healing to his emotional turmoil. "Andrew," she began calmly, "do you recall that you were born prematurely at 7 months?" "Andrew," he replied, a mix of impatience and anxiety in his tone. "Of course, but what does that have to do with anything?" Her reply was gentle. "Your mother was an incredibly resilient woman. She faced her own challenges. Before having you, she suffered the loss of 3 daughters, all stillborn before your birth." Understanding dawned on Andrew, revealing the reason for his aunt's smile. She hadn't been trivializing his grief, she had been drawing his attention to the uncanny parallels between his struggles and those of his mother. This realization brought him a peculiar sense of comfort and acceptance. "Andrew," his aunt continued, the light of affection in her eyes, "you know how dear you are to us. You were truly a special child in all our lives." A year following his transformative conversation with Aunt Amy, Skylar entered the world. From the moment he held his baby girl, Andrew knew she was destined for greatness. Skylar proved to be extraordinary, surpassing all expectations. She embodied the very qualities he had wished for in a child: bright, intelligent, and academically accomplished. Her report cards gleamed with impressive grades. But her talents extended beyond academics. She displayed equal fervor for sports, which eventually led her to the world of martial arts. Skylar became the epitome of Andrew's pride and joy, an embodiment of his fondest hopes. In stark contrast, Carter's upbringing was one of considerable affluence. Hailing from a family of wealth, they lived a lifestyle that allowed them to hire a personal chef one week and dismiss them the next, only to replace them with another from abroad. Their opulent lifestyle stood in stark contrast to Skylar's modest beginnings. Yet, despite their contrasting backgrounds, Skylar and Carter found it surprisingly effortless to connect. Initially cautious, they gradually shed their reservations, navigating this unfamiliar terrain. Their attraction was magnetic, drawing them irresistibly closer, unaffected by external influences. Over 8 months, they grew together, learning from one another. Carter was spirited and carefree, relishing parties and enjoyable gatherings. When it came to intimacy, he respected Skylar's boundaries. Skylar, molded by her humble upbringing, held a more serious perspective on relationships. She believed that if a relationship lacked depth and commitment, it wasn't worth investing in. This outlook, rooted in her modest background, shaped her approach to her connection with Carter. After 8 blissful months, Carter took their relationship to the next level. "Honey, I can't bear waking up alone anymore. I want you by my side," he confessed earnestly, offering his heart with unbridled joy. Skylar accepted, though her happiness was overshadowed by concerns about Carter's parents. Voicing her apprehension, she wondered about their reaction. Carter asserted his unyielding resolve, stating that his parents had to accept her or risk losing their only son. Skylar tried to express her concern, but Carter interrupted, declaring, "No, you will be my wife. I won't hide you or our relationship. I'll proudly announce to the world that you are mine." With determination etched in his gaze, Carter's words eased Skylar's worries. While she still wondered about Carter's parents' response, his unwavering support reassured her. Gradually, her anxiety subsided, and she realized her concerns might have been needless. This was Skylar's state of mind until the day of the dinner with Carter's parents, which they had arranged at a restaurant, a seemingly neutral ground. Carter assured her it would be a casual gathering, a simple introduction. He tried to alleviate her concerns, saying, "You're just meeting my parents for a friendly chat." Despite his comforting words, Skylar felt an impending sense of scrutiny, as though she were about to undergo intense examination under a metaphorical microscope. These thoughts left her with a mix of unease and fluttering anticipation in her stomach. Though Carter reassured her, the upcoming dinner seemed like a pivotal exam where she would be assessed and judged. As Skylar rushed into her apartment, her eyes darted to the clock. She had roughly 2 hours left before the dinner, but the restaurant was located on the other side of the city, leaving her feeling pressed for time. In her hurried state, she attempted to apply mascara with one hand and simultaneously zip up her dress with the other. Unfortunately, neither task was proving successful. A near mishap with the mascara wand led to her eye reddening, while her persistent attempts at coercing the stubborn zipper only resulted in its breaking. She came to a halt, took a deep breath, and gazed at her flustered reflection in the mirror, offering herself a small, encouraging smile. "All right, slow down, girl. It's okay," she reassured herself. "What's the worst thing that can happen, huh?" "Exactly. So just relax and take it easy. Whatever happens, happens." Armed with this pep talk, she took a moment to regroup. Gently washing off her hastily applied makeup, she returned to her room and swapped the ill-fitting dress for a pair of comfortable jeans and a light sweater from her wardrobe. Holding them up, she examined the attire, a sense of calm washing over her. She dressed in the more casual outfit, opting to be herself for the evening ahead. In this tranquil state, Skylar contemplated her previous frenzy. She realized she had needlessly rushed and pressured herself. After all, no one had asked for her opinion on the dinner attire or venue. And why had she decided on an evening dress for a simple family gathering? Her closet did hold a couple of fancy dresses, precisely 2 of them. In a moment of emotional reaction following her breakup with Alex, she had splurged her entire salary on these 2 pieces. Alex had ended their relationship, criticizing her for being too simple, asserting that he needed someone more sophisticated. The memory still stung, but Skylar had grown wiser. She wasn't going to let anyone else's opinion shape her identity or choices. She was proud of her simplicity and authenticity, qualities that were integral to her identity and would not be altered for anyone else. Amidst the last-minute rush, Skylar managed to board the train just before the doors closed. Slightly panting from her sprint, she took a moment to catch her breath and steady her racing heart. That was quite the dash, she mused, a faint smile gracing her lips. Casting a quick self-check to ensure she hadn't encountered any mishaps during her haste, she found herself looking presentable, her swift run not having caused any unfortunate stains or mishaps on her clothes. As she resumed her seat, her once hectic demeanor transformed into one of calm. She prepared herself mentally for the impending dinner. With a 20-minute train ride ahead, Skylar opted to use this time to unwind and gather her thoughts. Settling into an available seat within the half-empty train carriage, she found herself enveloped by the rhythmic sounds of wheels against tracks. The blur of subway walls punctuated by the passing station lights filled her vision. Lost in contemplation about the evening's prospects, she couldn't shake the feeling that this would be more than the casual, friendly family dinner Carter had described. Was it possible that he had downplayed its significance to spare her anxiety? Was she on the cusp of stepping into something far more complex than anticipated? Just as Skylar rose from her thoughts, laughter echoed through the carriage. Her attention shifted towards a group of individuals who were tormenting an elderly man. One of them sarcastically remarked on her intervening, casting her as a sweet girl supposedly attacking the older man. Though she shot them a disdainful look, she refrained from speaking. Their laughter resumed, and they even started tossing an empty beer can at the elderly man. Feeling a mixture of anxiety and anger, Skylar finally spoke up. "You should all be utterly ashamed of yourselves. What did he do to deserve this?" The harassers fell momentarily silent before bursting into laughter once more.